Everybody here for Black Ink Crew. Excuse me, season 4, episode 2. This was a pretty good episode. We finally get introduced to my friend in this episode, but let me just go through the episode. I'm just so excited for him. Y'all don't even understand. Let me just get to the episode. So let's continue from last week when Caesar got arrested. So after Caesar left, Osh is in his room and he's tatting a client himself. So Caesar's client is pissed because she's like, I came here for, I think she said she wanted a centaur. And she was like, it looks like I have half a zebra. Can you just wrap me up so I can leave? I'm never coming here again. So, it's like, yo, this is bad for business. Him being arrested is bad for business because once it hits the blogs, once, everybody in Harlem finds out, our reputation is pretty much tarnished. So, he's like, this is money that's leaving the shop right now, and the fact that Caesar is arrested, that sets us back. So Duchess arrives at the precinct where Caesar is locked up, and she's like shocked that he's arrested, but naturally she makes the situation about herself, basically saying, I got this, I came back to New York to, avoid this drama. Caesar and his baby mama drama is just a lot. And I have my own stuff going on. I came back to make some money to open my shop in 8 weeks. And this is what I come back to. So, I hope Caesar can handle this situation by himself because it's not coming out of my pocket. And I'm like, this is why y'all don't need to be engaged nor thinking about marriage. Because the both of y'all, like, in a sense, y'all are both selfish. But Duchess is way more selfish than Caesar. If you hear snoring, that's my daughter. She's laying on the bed snoring. She's knocked out. But yeah, Duchess is way more selfish than Caesar because she finds a way to make every single situation about her. You're supposed to be, as his fiance, you're supposed to support him no matter what. Yeah, it's a jacked up situation that he's in, but it's something he couldn't help, okay? He has a bitter baby mama. You know this. You know how this chick is. So you just gonna sit up here and basically, leave him for dead and just leave him to fend for himself because you don't want to deal with the situation. And it's like, but this is the man you want to marry. So you think that situations like these happen, you just gonna abandon ship, when stuff like this happens? What if y'all were married? If you would have left him like that, that would have been cause for divorce. Like, Duchess is just so selfish, and she annoys me. So back at the shop, Teddy is discussing the arrest with everybody, and he's like, yo, was y'all here? Did y'all hear what happened? And as they're talking about it, Osh walks in and they're making fun of his haircut, and Sky was like, well, that's the Gumby. And, going to say, well, it's not really to attract men, it's to attract females. And Ted was like, I don't think it's going to attract any females. First of all, haircut looked like, he looked like he saw a pigeon down somewhere in Harlem. Because, sometimes in New York, we got the pigeons, they got the little... like, I think it's hair or feathers, I don't know. But it's pigeons out here that have the little, hair sticking up. That's the kind of haircut that had, and I'm like, yeah, you need to shave that off and keep what you had, because that's not going to attract any type of women. Maybe the busted, crusty, ratchet ones, but it's not going to attract any type of women. So, they were asking him if he knew what happened with Caesar. He's like, yeah, I'm sitting here sketching, and next thing you know, like 10 cops come in rolling deep, arresting Caesar, and it was all for child support. So, Teddy is like, listen, he basically said the same thing about, that said that it's bad for business, and it's going to ruin their money, it's going to ruin their reputation in Harlem, and he had to think quick on his feet. So he decided to hire a new tattoo artist, which I felt was a good call, because is there, but he's not really reliable. He got his own personal demons going on. Caesar is another tattoo artist. Duchess is a tattoo artist there, but she got her own stuff going on with Caesar and with her tattoo studio. Donna is an apprentice. So he was like, okay, I'm going to hire, a new tattoo artist, bring in some money. So, and I'm like, you know what? Him as manager of the shop and him second in charge, I thought that was a good idea. That was a good thing. That was something that I would expect for Caesar to expect from Ted, him being second in charge. When he's not there, when Caesar is not there, Ted is the one that makes the decisions. And I thought that was a good call on Ted's part, because usually Ted, he just sits there and he gossips and he cracks jokes, but it seems like he's taking his position seriously. So I felt like it was a good call for him hiring another tattoo artist, somebody else that could bring in money and, keep the clients coming, even if, whoever the client is coming there for is not there. She's a good tattoo artist. And I'm like, I get that. It was a good decision to me. So Duchess finally decides to show her face in the shop. And, when she walks in, everybody's like, oh, Duchess is here. Oh, okay, weird. So Donna is like, well, you're back. In her confessional, you're back after abandoning the crew. And, Sky's like, well, damn, bitch, where you been? What's going on, whatever. So, well, everybody is just like, wow, she's here. I thought she was still in North Carolina. So, Duchess is like, this is exactly why I didn't want to come back here. Now I come back, they act like they don't even care. Like, they act like they're, they don't even care that I'm here or whatever. So Sky was the only one that was excited, asking her about what's going on with Pretty in Ink. And, Sky was like, you set out to do something and you said you was going to do it, so you did it. And she's like, how's that going? And, Duchess is like, well, I don't really want anybody to jinx it, so I don't really want to go into too much details. So, when everything happens, then I'll let you guys know. So, she was just being very standoffish. And, Sky is like, well, you come back here and we haven't seen you in a while. And now all of a sudden you're acting like really weird and we don't get it. So, what happened? When they told Duchess that Ted was now the manager of the shop, like second in charge, she just made a face. So, Ted was like, I wasn't expecting for you to have, she basically congratulated him, was like, okay, well, that's good. So he was like, I wasn't expecting for you to, say that. And she was like, you know what? I need for y'all to stop expecting the worst of me. Like, because when y'all come at me with y'all judgment, it makes me feel uncomfortable. So Sky is like, well, if you show us different, then we'll have something different to judge, love. And I'm like, boom, tell her, Sky, because it's like, you don't want them to judge you and call you, the type of chick that does this, that, and the third, but yet that's what you do. So they're only judging off of what you give them, which is the truth. You're very standoffish, you're very rude, you're very selfish, you act like you're above everybody that's in that shop. Hell, in your confessional, you sat up here and called them Caesar's minions. Like, you don't work for Caesar also. So I'm like, stop. So now, well, this actually happened beforehand, but we get to Puma, and Puma's discussing his drama that happened last year with Ink 124 and Kwani wanting to leave New York because she felt unsafe and all of the stuff that was going on with Caesar. So when we last saw Puma, he was working on getting his new shop open, which in the last episode of last season he said it was going to be called Ink 124, but it turns out he actually calls it Art to Ink Tattoo Studio. And he introduces Naeem, who I saw in the Black Ink Crew cast, and also my best friend, my big bro, Young Phoenix. He was introduced, and, Puma basically said that he brought them on because he likes that Naeem is good with portraits, and Phoenix is good with, color, and he knows how to put the right coloring on the right skin tone. Most tattoo artists don't know how to do that. Like, there's a lot of tattoo artists who just put any color on any type of skin tone. Like, people that's darker than me, they'll put colors on them and the color will look faded. So he hired them based off of that. He also has someone named Amsterdam Inc. who did tattoos. And then of course Sassy is there. Sassy is his best friend, so she's there. So Phoenix mentions, it's so weird calling him that because I know his real name, but out of respect for him, Phoenix mentions the arrest with Caesar, and he tells Puma, yeah, he was arrested for not paying child support. And Puma's like, for somebody to have all of this money you claim you have, you can't afford to pay, you can't afford to take care of your kids. So of course that's something to get Puma talking or whatever. But Sassy was like, listen, we're not gonna mention anything. Like, we're not gonna bring negative vibes and negative energy into this new work environment. This is a drama-free zone. So we're gonna leave Black Ink and 124 Ink 124 in the past. That's in the past. Don't bring it up again. Let's just cut it out of our vocabulary. And I'm like, I'm with Sassy. Bring in, positive energy, positive flow, and just keep it like that. So that way the negativity can stay where it's at. And I'm like, I honestly feel like the Art to Ink studio is a much better fit for Puma than Ink 124. I felt like Ink 124 was more of a competition for Puma more than it was an actual business. And I kind of feel like that's why I felt, because he wanted so badly to have his own tattoo shop just to say, hey, I got my own tattoo shop. I'm doing better than you, Caesar. But it's so many things that backfired on him with that. But now I feel like with the Art to Ink studio, it's his. He's running it how he wants to. He actually put thought into it. So I'm proud of Puma, I'm proud of him wholeheartedly, and I feel like he makes, from the tattoos I've seen that Phoenix like he'll share or whatever, from what I've seen, I like it. Like, they're really dope there. So Tamia, who's Puma's daughter, she comes in, and Sassy says hi to her or whatever. So they were asking, they like, oh, we could bring our kids to the shop. He said, well, the only reason why I'm doing this is because Kwani works a 9 to 5. And in order for me to, keep her here and make her feel safe and make her feel comfortable, I have to be Mr. Mom. And he's like, it took a lot for me to get my wife to come back from Atlanta, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to make her feel comfortable, make her feel safe, make her feel secure. So if she came back and she got this new job secured, I'm going to be the best parent ever, and take care of my child. I do this for my daughter. This shop is for my daughter. She means the world to me. So I'm like, good for you, Puma, because it's a lot of guys out here who don't even consider their child's feelings, who don't even care about their children. And it's like, you're here being a dad. You're doing what you're supposed to do. You're taking care of your daughter. You're making sure she's safe. You're making sure she's happy. And that's a beautiful thing. So he asked Naeem to do a portrait of Tamia. He said every picture that he has of Tamia, she's smiling. He wants a picture of her, ice grilling. So he had a picture of her basically like, it was so cute though. So Naeem says, well, I just recently became a father, and, what kind of advice would you have for a guy like me who's becoming a father? And he's like, well, basically what I would say is, you never want your daughter or your child to go through what you went through as a child. So you always want better for them. So, Puma goes in to say, he doesn't know his dad, him and his mom always clashed. So he had a weird childhood. He had a bad childhood. So he doesn't want that for his daughter. He wants her to be happy. He'll struggle before he lets her struggle. And I'm like, that's every single parent who's like a hardcore, no nonsense parent wants that for their kid. They want better than what they had growing up. And sometimes it doesn't always work out that way, but I feel like if you give your kids love, attention, respect and stuff like that, I believe that their childhood will be normal, as normal as possible. Because a lot of parents, they break their backs for their kids, which you should. As a parent, you make a lot of sacrifices. You break your back. You work hard. You grind. You build towards your future, and that involves your kids. So you know, I get it. You know, a parent never wants to see their child struggle. And I honestly get it. Now that I'm a parent, I honestly understood why my mother, you know, would work 16-hour days and was always tired and everything, and why I was always watching my sisters. I get it now. You know, when you're a child, you don't really understand it. But when you get older, you're like, wow, I get it. So I understand it completely what Puma is saying. So, you know, he's doing the tattoo, and then Puma is giving, you know, his backstory and talking about how failure is not an option for him. You know, Arta Inc. has to work. It has to be positive. It has to, you know, make money because, you know, without it, he has nothing else. And I'm like, listen, Puma, you keep your determination and your ambition, and you're going to go far. And from what I've seen, like I said, on Instagram, the pictures and stuff online, it seems like he's doing really, really good. So I'm proud of Puma. I really am. So, Sky invites Duchess out for a drink or whatever because she wants to know why Duchess was acting funny at the shop. So Duchess arrives and she basically tells Sky, listen, I need $3,000 more to finish the construction in my shop. And my shop has to be open in 8 weeks. So Sky's like, oh, that's why she came back to the shop. She needs to make money. So, you know, Sky's basically like, well, listen, I'm going in the next couple of weeks to get my butt lift surgery in Miami. I want you to come, and I want you to take your mind off of the stress and just have fun with the girls, and, you just deal with your problems when you come back. So, Duchess agrees to go, and she's like, I'm looking forward to going to Miami just to get away and be stress-free because, it's a lot of issues. Everything is out of control up here. So, she agreed to go with Sky. And I'm like, Sky is a really, really good friend. Like, I really wish I had a friend like Sky because Sky is always one who wants to cheer everybody up, who wants everybody to get along. She likes cracking jokes. Like, I love Sky. And I told her that when I was at the Big Ants tribute. I was like, I love you. I do. I love Sky. Sky is so, like, she is real. I love Sky. Like, I don't care what nobody says. Sky is, like, the realest to me. So, it's the day of, a photo shoot that Duchess has set up for, Black Ink and Pretty Ink, like, collaboration. It's a calendar. So, she's, so bothered by Caesar's arrest, and she's like, I basically have to run this shoot by myself since Caesar was arrested. And she's like, see, all of this baby mama drama and these issues that Caesar has, this is why I'm not in a rush to get married, because that's your baby mama and that's your baby, and this is something that you're gonna have to deal with for the rest of your life. And I'm like, okay, but you knew this getting into a relationship with him. You knew this since the first season. You bailed him out. Didn't she? She bailed him out when they went to court the first season. She bailed him out and gave him money for that. So you knew what you were getting yourself into. This is what you decided to do. Not to say that you and Caesar can't make it work, but it's like you just gotta take what comes with Caesar. You can't have it halfway. Caesar has a crazy ugly baby mother. I'm sorry, she ugly. I'm so sorry. And I don't like calling people ugly, but there is no other word to describe her. I'm sorry. But moving on. Maybe that's why she's so mad, because she ugly. Moving on. Like, you knew what you were getting into when you got with Caesar, so why are you acting surprised? So Ted decided to hire a new tattoo artist. Her name was Melody. Melody is really, really pretty. She's, light skinned. She had green eyes. She had these, like, the side of her head shaved. And then the rest was, like, locks, like, dreadlocks. I don't really like to call them dreads because that's a negative connotation, so I call them locks. So, Walt sees her and he's, like, salivating at the mouth. And he's like, yo, she looks like a turkey, bacon, egg, and cheese on a croissant. Now, if you're from New York, our signature breakfast sandwiches is either sausage, egg, and cheese or a bacon, egg, and cheese. I guess Walt doesn't eat pork, so he said a turkey, bacon, egg, and cheese. And bacon, egg, and cheese or sausage, egg, and cheese in New York, any of the 5 boroughs, rather, is like that's the clutch breakfast. Okay, like everybody, there's a deli on every corner in New York. If you are not from New York, there's a deli on every corner in New York. And the majority of them know how to make a good sausage, egg, and cheese or bacon, egg, and cheese. I had a sausage, egg, and cheese this morning from the Arabs that live around my mother. Around where my mother live, they make the best sausage, egg, and cheese ever. So, yeah. If you're from New York, you know that sausage, egg, and cheese and bacon, egg, and cheese, that's our signature breakfast sandwiches. But he was like, compares it to he compared it to a turkey, bacon, egg, and cheese on a croissant. So Ted shows her the workspace that she'll be in. And Melody is basically like, I'm here to work, I'm here to network, I'm here to build up my clientele and just make money because I see a future in tattooing. So, Donna comes in and she sees her and she's like, "Ooh, who are you?" So she introduces herself as the new tattoo artist, and Donna felt offended for a quick second. She's like, "Well, he hired a new tattoo artist and I'm sitting right here." But anyway, she's cute. I wonder if she like, girls, I'm 100% faithful to Maxwell, but eating ain't cheating. I'm like, you nasty. Donna is funny though, yo. She cries. How can people not like Donna? I mean, I know Donna is a little, she's a little off at times, but I like her. Like, she is very humorous. I love Donna. So, now Caesar's released from jail, and Duchess is like, "Ooh, you smell like jail." He's like, "Whatever, how you smell me?" She like, "No, you smell like jail." So they get in the car. He basically said that he ended up in jail because Crystal asked for an increase, and then she got them to give her papers to serve Caesar. She never served him, so she basically went back to the courts and said that he wasn't served, and they put a warrant out for his arrest. And I'm like, that is cold-blooded. Like, she is very vindictive. And he's like, she basically has a personal vendetta out for me. She just hates the fact that I'm, grinding and I'm trying, and she just wants to make it worse for me. So Duchess is basically like, listen, she won't be getting no money up out of my pocket. And he's like, well, that's great, but she's going to still be coming from my pockets. And I'm like, see, here we go with that selfish mentality again. How can y'all even want to get married when this is the type of talk y'all have as a couple? I don't hear I don't hear no teamwork. I don't hear, babe, I support you. I don't hear nothing. You have to get out of the selfish mentality when you get in a relationship with somebody, especially if it's something as serious as an engagement. The next step after an engagement is to be married. That means you want to be connected as one. That means in the eyes of the law, you are man and wife, and you are legally binded together until one or the both of you die or you get a divorce. So for y'all to be having these conversations where it's, well, I got to do this and I got to do this and this is my problem and this is your problem. That's a dumb mentality to have, and that's why some people don't need to be engaged. And Duchess and Caesar are not ready to get married at all. Sky comes in the tattoo shop and she sees Melody. She says hi to everybody. She sees Melody and she's like, "What up, Dutch?" And then when Melody looked up at her, she's like, "What the hell is going on there? I thought that was Duchess." So, Ted is like, "No, this is the new tattoo artist, Melody. I hired her, to help bring in more money." And, Sky's like, "Okay." So she's like, "Yo, she looks just like Duchess." Walt was basically like, "Well, listen, Melody is light-skinned with tats and locks. Who would that remind you of?" So Sky was like, "Well, I can't wait for Duchess and Melody to meet." So in her confessional, Sky said, "Yo, this chick Melody is like, Duchess with green eyes and moist lips." I about died because we all know Duchess lips be looking like they go through it, honey. Like, Duchess lips look like they ain't seen no type of chapstick in like years. So this drag queen walks in, "Oh, hey, I'm here." And I was like, "Yes, honey." And we find out his name is B Hollywood. He's a fun drag queen. And he basically told Melody that he's he went through struggle, he went through demons, and he wants to get a bearded demon as his tattoo. So Melody goes and she sketches it. And the sketch that she came up with was nice, but when she did the tat itself, oh my god, the color, the quality, everything was just nice. So I'm like, she bodied that, like she did her thing. So B Hollywood really loved the tattoo. And Melody was basically saying like this tattoo relates to her in a way where she's like, battling her own demons, and she just wants to be a high profile tattoo artist. She has a biracial background. Her dad was ooh, her dad was black, her mom was like a country white woman. And she just felt like she never fit in, which most biracial kids don't. Like, a lot of people make biracial kids feel like, well, you got to pick one or the other. You can't be both. And it's like, but that's what they are. They're mixed babies. They're black and they're white. Why do they have to pick both? Why do they have to pick one over the other? Why can't they just be in the middle and embrace both? And that's what I could never understand about people who are racist or people who dwell on race. Like, why does it matter? Why can't they embrace both? Like, oh, I'm proud to be black. I'm proud to be white. I'm proud to be mixed, So a lot of biracial people like Melody feel very left out, and they rebel and they look for an outlet, and it just happens that Melody's outlet, tattooing. So, Sky kept calling her Megan, because she kept saying her name wrong. But she was like, I like Melody because, she likes drinking Irish whiskey and she likes to have fun. And she people think that Hennessy is just the it thing to do when it's not. So then we get to Donna and Sky, and they're hanging out with Sky. She's having a little girls' night. And then they're talking about Miami, and she's talking about her butt surgery. So she lets the girls know, yeah, I invited Duchess. Donna was like, Duchess. Because, Donna and Duchess have like this little weird beef. But Donna is upset because last season, Duchess was being very, very phony, being all nice to Donna. Well, maybe it wasn't phony at the time, but in her confessional, she was very nasty and very disrespectful towards Donna and what she was going through. And you wouldn't expect that from Duchess because Duchess had just went through the same exact thing. So last season, if you didn't know, if you didn't see last season, Donna was pregnant by her fiance, Max. And, she was excited because they was getting engaged. They were about to have a baby, but she lost the baby. So she she confides in Duchess and lets Duchess know, yeah, I lost the baby. So before Duchess even knew that she lost the baby, Duchess is going to say, well, I don't know if Donna is thinking about that little bastard that she's carrying in her belly, but she need to be focused on her tattoo. And I'm like, but the baby that you just miscarried, technically speaking, I don't like to call any type of babies bastards, but technically speaking, when you have a baby out of wedlock, they're considered bastards. So you and Caesar are not married, but yet you were pregnant by him and had a miscarriage as well. So your baby that you miscarried would have been called a bastard too. Don't be a hypocrite. And that's exactly what Duchess is being. So Donna is upset, because she's like, she's acting fake and phony to my face, but behind my back, she's talking about my miscarriage. Like, that's just plain rude and disrespectful. And I'm like, yeah, I would feel some type of way too. I do feel some type of way, and that's not even my baby that was lost. Like, but I can understand how Donna feels, and you don't call nobody. One thing you never do with a mother or a parent, period, you don't come for the kids. Even if the kid is stillborn, miscarried, that's when you definitely don't come for the kids. But you don't come for kids at all. Kids have nothing to do with these situations. And I was very disappointed and very disgusted by Duchess, by her saying that. I was just like, really? You're going to say something like that after you just went through the same situation? Okay. So, Ted, Melody, and Walt are just sitting around discussing restaurants, just casual talk. And Caesar comes in. First thing he does is question who Melody is. And she's, introducing herself. And, Caesar's like, well, I didn't hire you. So, I didn't invite you here. If you didn't get a call from me, then you basically can't work here. So, Ted is sitting there like, here we go. He want to throw around the word authority. He want to throw around the word, I'm the boss, I'm the boss, I'm the boss. So Melody is like, are you seriously firing me right now? He's like, I didn't hire you. You didn't get my approval to be here. So it might be best. Oh, excuse me. It might be best for you to come back at a time when I'm not so irate and pissed off right now. And she's like, well, listen, I don't know who you are or who you think you are, but I'm pretty sure that anybody else who's walked through that door, or I'm better than any tattoo artist that you ever had. He says, see, this is the ish I'm talking about. I was being nice to you. You don't know who's walked through these doors. And da da da. And I'm like, but Caesar, your reputation and the stuff that goes on Black Ink, yeah, you need to take all that you can get right now. And Melody is she's the cream of the crop, and you need to keep her because she's a good tattoo artist and she could bring money in. So Melody just left. She ain't argue with him. She just left. She was just like, I don't know why he coming at me sideways, but whatever. So after she left, Ted went off on him. Ted was like, Ted. Oh, I didn't even watch this barbershop thing. They're talking about Ryan from Black Ink Crew Chicago. But yeah, I'll watch that later because they're going to repeat it like 1,000 times. But yeah, Ted was like, you seriously going to fire her when, you know, is not reliable. You and Duchess ain't here. There was nobody else in here to do tats, so that's why I hired her. He's like, yeah, but you got to go through me. He was like, but you put me second in charge. And he's like, yeah, when I'm not here. He's like, you were not here. And I'm like, go off, Ted. Go off. You did exactly what you were supposed to do. I agree with what you did. I agree with the decision. You stepped up and you did the right thing. And you brought some change into that shop. So Caesar, he just feels disrespected, like, oh, I'm the boss. So I was looking on Twitter, and I saw that Caesar tweeted Teddy and said something like, I don't know who Teddy Rux thinks he is. I'm the boss. So I saw that Teddy tweeted back to him, STFU bitch. I'm like, oh, Lord. Ooh, this is better than the show. But I'm with Teddy. Teddy did the right thing in hiring Melody. And I feel like Caesar, he always want to throw around how he's the boss, but you don't act like the boss. You are mad unprofessional. You didn't have to talk to that girl like that. Like she wasn't rude to him. She was very polite. He didn't have to talk to, and Caesar has no respect for women. And this is why I don't understand why Duchess is still with him. He has no respect for women. He's calling Melody, well, they was both calling her all kinds of, bitches and whatnot. But Teddy was just saying it, unknowingly. Caesar was just very you gonna hire the bitch and da-da-da-da. And I'm like, but why she gotta be a bitch though? She came there to do a job. And she did a damn good job while she was there. I'm like, Caesar's just stupid. If I was Teddy, I would just give him enough rope to hang himself. And I would just kick away the chair if I was him. Because that's basically what Caesar's doing. But that was the episode. Y'all tell me how y'all felt about it. Remember, like, comment, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Mwah. Later.